All right, so here's a little how I see it for these oval retrofits. So for the smaller ones, it looks like I was sent over the files for the smaller ones, but like I said, we don't have anything for the big ones yet. Anyway, so this is getting it from 60 to 70% to closer to 90, 95, maybe a direction. And so I'm going to kind of send it to you, and then you'll kind of see what's up, and then we can tweak it if you see something's wrong. So anyway, so I got orange here. This is the 5-inch existing cabinet. That'll be the orange ring here, right there. So blue is our outside, not really including any band or anything. Like I say, this isn't really super accurate. It's just getting it dialed in from 60 to 90. So I have our panels. Art sent them over at 3 inches deep. We do have a 1 inch apart. I know we talked about 1.5 inch, but maybe things had to get a little closer. That's going to make it a little tougher to get our fasteners, but if install can work with, I can do the little tracks with the hidden fasteners or whatever, but the tool-free fasteners basically. But I don't, if we rely on just a shoebox, but I don't know about getting a screw in here to just make sure they don't go anywhere. So we'll have to think about that. But essentially, this is just visualizing the box I was talking about. So you see the red here. This is basically a C channel. I've got it at 4.5 deep, and it'll have a 2-inch face, 2-inch face. And that just wraps around the 4 sides here. That makes our nice strong box. I have the corners clipped. I'll do a clipped jig system here. Well, it gives us a 45 notch. That gives us clearance to our 5-inch existing there. So it'll fit inside, no problem. Shouldn't anyway, but like I said, I'm just dialing in. And then we'll have our green here as our vertical runners, like we do pretty much every sign that we do that goes on the wall. At Cabazon already has that whole system, so it's not like it's any different. So you might recognize that. That's a side profile in green. So that'll go all the way to the wall. And then that is where the mounting points work there. I have 3x3 blocks of 1/2 inch right now, just to 4x over whatever the existing thing is here, like we talked about. These could be routed out of like anything that we need to make it thicker, or we could stack 3/4 inchers and make it 3/4 of an inch if we need to, whatever we need to do to make this sort of 4x. And then also I can adjust this, this is 4.5 now, but if we need to extend this out without making this pooch out too far, then I can trim a 1/4 inch off, or, make this 4 inches deep, whatever. So that's the overall kind of outer frame box. And then these will be also bent as a C channel that goes all the way to the back. So the back and the front will be a solid box here with vertical runners that go to the back. And then the back, so then we're just breaking it up into these boxes here as one piece. The back will be one piece. And then these will be crossbars here. Those will just be C channels like that. And then I don't really have shown, but we talked about, there'll be like an internal framing thing. You understood that. I didn't take the time to make that yet. So each of these will slide onto that track. So there'll be a little track ring around each of these openings. The light gray is the face. I went ahead and just made a light gray, so it's kind of out of our way. And then, of course, you have the panels up here, these removable panels here. So, okay, so that's kind of the main box, working out from there. So really, that's what we already have on location there, is like a backer box kind of thing with these struts, and that's how it's bolted on. These are coming in at 23 apart, which is just right. And then to support the face sticking out past this box, looking at it from the front, will be a typical standard kind of strut. So it's 2 inches across here. One flange will be 1 inch, and then the other flange, it can be unequal as long as one flange is long, will go all the way to the back of the box. So that looks like right here. So you'll have a 1 inch flange bent, then you'll have 2 inches across for Lords, and then you'll have another piece that goes all the way back. It misses, this is the existing frame box here, so you got plenty of room to play. And then we just kind of run it back here, and then this will allow fab, they can just square this up and then just tack it to the outside of the box. So these will be like fin struts that come out arbitrarily from these points, and then these will support the face where the panels go. So like right here, I'll cut a hole out here for this panel to allow access if we need it. But then the face will come around and we could lords this to that face, and that stabilizes that all the way around. And then of course the face will be sitting on this, that's stabilized. And then once we start getting kind of out here, then here's one right here. And then that'll be an opening for access should we need it. And then this will be, so then the face as well, like we talked about stabilizing the face. Group. So yeah, so we'll have a face strip here. This is 32 by 61. And that's what we talked about stabilizing. So this bar here, you'll have 1 inch on one side, 1 inch on the other. That's basically what we do with all of our monuments. And then same thing here, the face will be stabilized there. And then this seam will run down in between the boxes. So you see the light gray, it'll run right down there. So this face seam will be stabilized nice and strong all the way there. And then this will be like one solid piece, this will be all solid here. And then I'll cut out what we need here for access inside there to get to this thing, whatever. And then that means that this ring, break those apart. There you go. So now this ring will be here. You can see that's 48 by 60. So that easily fits on our router. So we're good to go there. And then again, we'll be cutting out all the pieces there. So we have that. As far as the band around the outside, so the fact that we're lordsing all this together is awesome, and it makes it super strong. But then there's no free lunch. So when we go to put the strap on around the outside, yeah, I said it. When we go to put that strap and we fasten it, yeah, then I'm thinking what we'll do, kind of like what you were saying, is that stylistically we would have been using screws originally to hold this thing up originally. So we would have been living with screws, every 12 inches, 18 inches, just to make sure it's on there. So what I'm thinking is we do like a 2-inch deep clip that's 1.5 inches or so down, which is in magenta here. And then we will go ahead and screw the strap decoratively, but the screws will look like what we would have done to hold it on there. So what I'm saying though is we're not going to be able to weld this strap on. Yeah, we're not going to be able to weld the strap all the way around after we've lordsed all this on, because then it's going to shrink and it's going to cause the lords to pop, or it's going to live under a huge amount of strain. At some point it will give. So if you're going to go all lords, you can't mix in the welding unless you weld first and then you do lords. But we can't do that because this is all in different pieces, and we're going to be putting that strip all the way around. So what I'm thinking is we go ahead and just tack on clips where we would have put screws anyway, and it kind of looks like the screw is doing that work. But then what we do is then I can also, because I'll be putting the clecos, I can line that screw hole right up, and we can use it to align and be strong. So we'll have a self-tapper that fraps on the strap, and then we can go from the backside, we can blob lords on there really good. We can just do a continuous bead all the way around with lords on the backside, and that's really going to make that strong. So you'll have screws and you'll have lords. And then if we're feeling ambitious, we could even lords the front side, and then do like a bathtub caulk job where we kind of make it look nice. And that will also put a bead of lords around there if we choose to do that. I don't think we'll need it. Sometimes there's an issue with paint as well with lords. So, but if we do it on the backside, that'll seal it up, any light leaks, but it also should make it really strong. It should theoretically be stronger than tacking it. The problem with tacking is that you'll do a tack here, and then you'll go over 1 inch or 1.5 inches, and you'll tack. Not only does it just warp the metal and it's horrible, but these tacks will eventually crack because they shrink. So the idea is that a tack is just a tack. It's not meant to be welded. A tack is not a weld. Not to sound like a Dr. Seuss book or something, but a tack is not a weld. So a tack will eventually crack and break. So the idea is you tack it, but then you'd want to run a bead, and then the bead will crack at the very beginning, but generally it stops. So if all you do is rely on tacks, eventually these tacks will break, and then the issue is this one breaks, so now this one and this one are stressed. This one will break, and that's where you get what I call the zipper effect. So you'll pop that one, and then all of a sudden they just start to pop. So, and there goes your sign. So anyway, so doing screws every so often and actually having them tacked to the, that actually would probably be stronger. And then if we, like I say, we do like a nice continuous blob of lords all the way around, this strip should be on there nice and solid, especially after we've stabilized these seams really well. and then we can stagger the strip across that, and it should, so it actually should be stronger than tacking it all the way around. So that's the strip. That'll take care of that. That's how we build that. And then, so lifting was another thing. So I know that this box will actually give us something that actually helps us, because I think what we'll do is we'll break up the strip and we'll start it there. So this box will be attached later, and it's no big deal. You take these panels off here, you'll have access to shoot screws, or I'll do like riv nuts or something, and we can bolt this on after. So that actually opens up the top of this cabinet to sort of a lift point. But because this structure is semi-shady, like this is just a support face, you want to lift it by this box here. So getting into here, maybe with that box out of the way, I don't know, I'll have to visit this, whether we can get down in there. But like you said, if we're lifting it we can't really lift it from the top, because we're not going to be lifting with any kind of hoist up top. So we almost have to be lifting it from the inside of the box if we're going to maybe use a scissor lift. So burning a little bit of 1/4 inch, I kind of came up with this idea if this works. So here's the top rail of your basket, and let's just say arbitrarily this is 44 inches. I don't know how tall a basket is. Maybe it could be longer, shorter. So this thing here will be a piece of 1/4 inch that will just kind of kick and lean against the bottom, hook onto the top of the basket, and then it will go up inside. And you can see here where we'll just have a 3-inch piece, 3x6, 3x6. These are the verticals here. And then we'll just have a crossbar that will rest up against the green on the inside. So this will kind of hook on there, bonk. I'm thinking it would be nice though to do some welded 1/2-inch nuts, so you can come in through here, because this will be open right here. So you'll have access, so you can come in here, bolt it for safety, and then that way this thing is just hooked onto the basket. But that means getting a boom that has enough capacity to lift everybody up there and lift this thing. So we'll get to weights in a second. So this thing will bonk against here, and then this thing will lean up against this foot, and then it'll be clear all the way down here. So that way you can kind of lift the basket up, and then you can even get to here. I made sure not to block that, but you can kind of bolt this thing in place, and then it's a matter of just unbolting and then, clearancing it and bring it back out. Or even you could leave it bolted, clear your basket, get out of the way, come back in, undo it, and then just lift it, Anyway, so it'll clear. This is your middle brace here. So you can see right there, that's this brace. So that'll clear that. It's just going to be against that one piece, a little wobbly, but I think that would be a way to do like a hanging system that's safe and get it up there. So this is what I'm saying. I'm sending this to you. We can go back and forth. Maybe you have an idea or install. Jonathan wants to take a look at this. And then for weights, I did super, super, super down and dirty. So you've got your back bracing in green here. Those are only 9 pounds, 10 pounds for all of them. It's the panels that are actually pretty heavy. Each panel, and I know there's push through and stuff, and I only did so much. So each panel is roughly 7 pounds. So you got 43 pounds just in aluminum, and you've got another 43 pounds. What I did is I just said, this gray here is one panel. So I just took this panel, sliced it in half. So one of these panels is this panel and this panel. And then this panel and that panel put together is one, if you slice this in half roughly. So that's another panel. So these would be the face panels with words. And then these would be all of our patch fake panels, give or take. So you add these together, you've got 87 pounds worth of aluminum just in your faces there. And that's not including the push throughs. So the push throughs would add maybe another 5 pounds. I remember with the Loma Linda one, I did the measurements for all of the push throughs on that giant monument that's out in the shop right now. And that's only 30 pounds for all the push throughs of that. So the push throughs won't add up to a whole lot more. Anyway, the faces are nothing because you've got voids. So it's 17 pounds worth of aluminum, but we take out 12 pounds worth of hollow. So this face is only 4 pounds, 5 pounds. So you got 14 pounds worth of face aluminum. The backer is 30 pounds for the whole backer sheet to seal it up. Okay. You've got 24 pounds worth of that. And I didn't really do these guys here because, again, whatever. But if you take these and rough in that, there's another 10 pounds. So I kind of took that into account. The strip is 12 pounds worth of 090 all the way around, but I know that it'll actually be notched. So it might not be the full strip because we have the arrow and we have that box. So, whatever. So all of this added together, you got 185 pounds when it's all said and done, plus the ones that I didn't, a few things here and there are the push throughs. So if you say 200 pounds on the smaller ones, we're getting there. And then if you take 12 feet, and I know these aren't 12 feet, and then you take 16 feet, that's 25% more. So I just multiplied this out. And so the bigger one, just pure math, is 230. So if you round that one up to, let's say, even 275, 300, just to be safe. But you're backing out. So what I'd like to see done, just to save the weight, plus it'll be access for you guys to do anything you need to, is to ship and or basically ship separately all the panels off of these. And that's going to save you this much plus push throughs. So 185 pounds, but 100 pounds of that might actually be push throughs and faces. So this frame actually is not that bad. It's going to be close to 100, 120 pounds without all the faces attached. So take those faces off. And I know it's kind of a pain in the butt sometimes, but stack them up nice and then just worry about using, work with the skeletons, get everything. Because to attach this box, you're going to have to take these off anyway, these panels. So I'm thinking, just if install's listening, get these all painted, but make a provision to ship, make a system to like foam together all the panels in one box and just expect to take those separately. And that'll make these frames pretty light for you guys. And I think that'll be the way to go. So, and then the lift thing, just for numbers, I did this. It's 20 pounds worth a 1/4 inch if we decide to do something like this. So, so when you're doing the boom figuring, make sure you get a capacity if you're going to do a scissor lift boom thing. So anyway, I think that should do it. Just hit me up. Like I said, the back and forth now, I think we got her closer to 90-95%. We'll dial it in once we get some real good measurements, and I'd like to meet with you one final time before I press go to make sure we're all driving. So anyway, hit me up if you have any questions.